by to Stefs Rock Show. Our next guest is a comedian, actor, and podcast host and badass bitch herself, Gabby Lamb. Thanks for coming by.
Oh my God, thank you for having me, honey.
Dude, of course. So I just been looking at your story. I've been low-key stalking, and you're got a crush. You got a crush right now, Luigi. Tell me about this.
Oh, he, I mean, who doesn't,
Yeah, no, the world, the internet is okay with that. I guess there's been an issue in the healthcare system for a while. But would you ever prison
Oh,
pal
fuck
write
yeah.
him or?
Would I prison pal write him? I don't think I'm that dedicated of a stalker, but I wouldn't blame anybody who does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I did that
wouldn't.
with Joe Exotic, with Tiger King in
Did you
2020. I became him
actually?
100%. We're friends. He's come on the show a lot.
That's so funny. Wait, is he
Yeah,
in prison right now?
he is. He needs to get out.
Wait,
Like,
so he has you've done the interviews while he's in prison?
yes. Yeah. He
They
can
have
get 15 minutes a
phones.
day. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. If you want his contact, I can give it to you and he can call in to your show. He's really funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I saw you follow Big Ed, and Big Ed comes by a lot. I love him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How
He's a
funny.
cool guy. I kind of like the underdog villains usually of shows. For some reason, I have a soft spot towards them.
I get that. And I really do get that. Luigi, he's just, he's like a revolutionary. I think he did what a lot of people have been feeling, It's
Fed
like,
up.
yeah. And obviously there's that whole thing of like, obviously condoning violence and murder is not, nobody's like gung ho about it, but it's at the same time, it's like these people do take advantage of us, and it's like this guy was kind of sticking up for the people who've been I don't know,
That don't
not
have a
able.
voice. And I get his
Right.
mom was in pain for years and he was in pain as well. And all the claims are getting denied for his mom and his back surgery. So I too, I'm on the same page. I'm not condoning go out and shoot somebody, but everyone understands the frustration with the healthcare system in America. So
Oh,
it
it's
sucks.
horrible. I mean, the healthcare system in America is horrible. It's like something that I've been dealing with for so long. It's a fucking nightmare. You feel like you're not. I've spent like hours upon hours on the phone with health insurance companies, not understanding like what is going on. You're just like, I need to see, like, I need a therapist, I need a doctor. You like
Yeah.
just a primary care, and like if you are medicated, like God forbid you don't, you know, run out of meds or something, something
Yeah.
happen where they can't take care of where you can't take care of it.
Yeah,
And
I've done a lot of therapy my whole life, and I know it's hard to get it cleared through health insurance, and it's really expensive
it's
out of pocket.
impossible. Yeah.
Yeah. So it took a DUI. I wanted to go back into therapy because it had been a while and I couldn't get it covered. So then I got a DUI and I got to go to these AA classes and the therapist was amazing. So that
Yeah.
kind of helped me go back to therapy. And I saw your skit about having like a neck tattoo and that means you have a DUI or something. And I realized I don't have a neck tattoo.
You only have one DUI?
Yeah.
Look at you. I've got two.
No, but you're killing it, dude. Goals.
Thank
3.
you. Thank
So
you.
when I get
No.
my second, I can get the neck tattoo.
Yeah. So when you get your second DUI, I mean, honestly, go get it tonight,
California, are you in California too, right?
Yeah.
It's the worst state. The first one, they're just like breathalyzer for 6 months in your car. I have kids. I had to park around the block from the school so the parents didn't see me blow randomly in the breathalyzer.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
embarrassing.
Oh my God. See, I had my breathalyzer in for a year because it was a second DUI, and the first one I got, whatever. It's like a whole stupid long story. But anyway, by the time I got the second one, it was like, it was so bad. And I had
Yeah.
to do all of the classes and all of that. And then I eventually, like a couple of months after that, I got sober.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you, honey. Yeah, it's just like that was what
That
that
was
was
your
kind of
wake
the
up
catalyst.
call.
Yeah, because honestly, I was like addicted to drinking and driving. So I was like, you know what? This is
Yeah.
gonna end really not well.
I feel you because I have a control issue. So for me, it's just I need
100%.
my car there. I want to be able to leave when I want to leave. So that was my
100%.
big, I'd be like, who drove us? And everyone's like, you did. You put the top down in your Benz and we all jumped in and you drove us. And I'm like, fuck, I don't remember that. Okay.
And yeah, I would do the same thing. It's a control thing. And I remember, like I've had so many friends and I've met so many people who are like, that's, why? Like, just take a fucking Uber. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not the point. The point is
I don't
I
want to
want
get
to be able to
raped. I don't want to get
yeah,
raped in an Uber.
I just want to be able to leave when I want to be able to leave. I don't want to wait for an Uber. Like, I just
I
want to
know.
go.
I'm just being a dick. There's no excuse. I do now.
I
I've been
know, I
since
know.
2018. I only take Ubers out because I don't trust myself. But am I a little bit
Yeah,
scared if I'm by myself? Yeah, I am. I'm not gonna lie. I did.
yeah.
I saw your skit though, and you're like, you're less likely to kind of be trafficked or taken advantage of if you have piercings and tattoos. And I think that's a great point. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's funny because I said that as, like in jest, like obviously it's not foolproof, but I do think that there is something to the whole thing of like women who look more alternative are less like um
We don't look virginal. And I think they're
right,
looking for virginal, innocent women, right? I look like
right.
I'm gonna like being choked. So you don't want to take me because I'm gonna probably get off on the rape in the beginning.
And
It's
that's
like,
the whole thing. And
yeah,
they don't want to kidnap a girl who their tricks aren't going to work on.
yeah, yeah. I'm
I
like, do you have
know.
rope? I'll get in the van.
Yeah,
I'm in.
right. No, I'll get in, please. Please, you're say no more.
Sign me up. Especially
I
if there's
know.
wine and charcuterie board. I'm in. Um,
Absolutely. I know. It is. It really is. It's a thing. It's like you look less conventionally attractive when you're like alternative, and I do think that like deters the general population away.
yeah,
I could be
yeah.
wrong. I could be wrong. That's just my experience from like what I see, the way that like men, interact with me, and they're like, "Oh, you're like kind of scary looking," or I get a lot of comments online where people are like, "Ew," like you look bad, basically, and it's like it's just because I have neck tattoos and
You're
piercings.
gorgeous. I don't know what they're and I resonate with your post how you're saying you're gonna get lip filler tomorrow. And men will be like, oh, you don't need it. But then men will be liking the photos of all the women that have lip filler.
The
So it
thing,
doesn't
so
match up.
it doesn't match up. It's funny. As soon as I posted that, like within 2 minutes, a guy DM'd me and was like, "You don't need to do that," and I was like, "I was waiting for this. I was waiting for this message."
Yeah.
They don't realize though too, like how many women do get all of that work done. It's subtle. I just have had issues with it being subtle because I keep going like whatever. If you have a talented injector who can like do the work and it like looks good, nobody can tell.
Yeah. Yeah. You just don't want to end up like Brandy Glanville and you're just like, what is going on lately, girl? It's just a little
Girl, I have been through that so many times. I've had my lips done poorly so many times, and I look back and I'm like,
That's what I got teased growing up for having big lips and being really skinny. So
are
it's to
yours
my advantage.
natural?
Yeah, I got
You're
made fun of.
so lucky.
No, and then they were like calling me all these names though. And then they're like, you weigh 2 pounds. Well, guess what, bitch? When you're old as fuck, it's great to be skinny growing up because then you like get thick in a good way. But my
Here's the
tits are
thing.
fake.
Oh, really?
That's
Okay,
oh
lucky
yeah.
you. I
Yeah,
would
I
love
got
fake
well,
tits.
that's the
So,
only thing I got done though, because I'm too scared to be honest. Like I'm not
me
against
too.
it. I
Me
just don't want
too.
to fuck with my face and something goes wrong or something's off. I don't know. I might do it one day though.
The filler, well, like it's like filler is easy because they can just dissolve it if it goes wrong. What scares me about surgery is that like if something goes wrong, like that's surgery. That's like the biggest reason why I'm afraid to get tits is because I'm like, what? With my luck, they would botch my tits, and then you're really fucked.
You're
And
right.
then you
I
have to
didn't
like
think about that at 18. Like it didn't cross my mind, but he's still working. Dr. Reichner was the president of plastic surgery at the time in Orange County, and he is just phenomenal, like
oh,
out
you're
of
in
this
Orange
world.
County.
No, my mom has a house in Orange County. I'm up in Sacramento and I was in LA for 7 years. But no, I flew down for the surgery. And so like if you're gonna go to the best of the best, the girls that go to Thailand and they're like, it's cheaper in Turkey. And so I'm like, no, you
No.
don't go cheaper when
You
it's your
don't
body.
go cheaper. And that's honestly, that's what I did when I started getting filler was I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to spend, $700 on my lips. I'll spend 300 and girl, does it show." And I'm
Really?
like, "Oh,
Okay.
yeah, like they're not good. I still like I've had my lips dissolved now in the past like month 2 times and there's still old whatever the fuck filler stuck in there because I'm sure that the people that I went to were using weird products. So it's
Like
just like weird.
cement. No, I heard someone was
Honestly,
injecting cement into butts.
I saw that. Oh my God, that poor girl. I think she died.
Oh shit. Like
And
that's crazy. Well, yours
I
look
know.
great though. They don't look like that fake duck protruding,
They
you
did
know.
though.
Oh,
Girl, if I showed you pictures from when I first started getting them done, you'd be like, "What were you thinking?" They were bad. They were really bad. But
Well,
that's what we got.
some guys like to and go for the overly fake, I don't know, that's their jam too. So,
I honestly kind of like that look. I like that like kind of campy, trashy, like early 2000s, like
mm.
overdone look. And something about it to me, I always see it and I'm like, I like that.
I love looking trailer park. It's funny. You wouldn't guess that like I have a legit job because I like to look like I stepped out of a trailer. That's just
It's
my
I
jam.
get it. It's
Yeah.
so there's something about it.
I feel
There's
cozy.
I know. I see when women look like that, I'm like, oh God, yes. Like there it is. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I don't trust classy people in business suits. It just freaks me out.
And the thing
Um,
is, I start getting tricked into thinking that that's what I want to like because like that's what society kind of pushes. You know, they're like, that's the kind of person you should trust. So then you start thinking like, oh, okay.
yeah.
But I'm like, that's not. I don't.
No, the chicken sweatpants with her hair up in a messy bun, that's who I really trust because you're not trying to impress me. You're like, I don't give a fuck. So I
Yeah,
gravitate towards dress down.
absolutely. The girl in the juicy and the like the ugly 2000s like juicy tracksuit wearing UGG boots that has like a bad fake tan and huge lashes. I'm like, I you get it.
Yes, and she's still rocking her CD player in the car. Like that's who I want to be my friend.
Absolutely.
So I saw also you did a skit about putting a finger in the butt. Um, I've had mixed reactions about that. Like a lot of guys are afraid to try it. They said they think they're gonna be gay. If some will let me try it, some won't. I wanted to know because it's something I'm so into and I've talked about in the radio for years. Are you into pegging at all? Have you done that?
I have not done it and I can't say that I would be into it. Um But that's just because 'cause I'm not that, kinky.
No way. Okay, you would give off
No.
kinky vibes.
I know, I do, but I'm actually pretty vanilla, so it's things like that that I'm like I love when other people, can talk about it and are actually, like, very into it, but for me, I'm still a little bit like, "Oh, I don't know if I could do that."
I would not because I'm so into pegging. It's just a dominant thing.
That's so funny, and guys do love it.
Oh,
It's
they
just like
love you'd be shocked by the
it's
conservative men and rock stars that have let me peg them.
They
It's
love it. They love
yeah.
it. And that's what's so funny is like they get so, whenever I talk about that stuff of like putting your finger up a guy's ass and stuff, they get so mad, because they're just like, that's disgusting. If a guy's letting you do that, he's gay. And I'm like, all of you guys are projecting because you know that you would actually like it and you actually might be gay. You know that to
Or
me,
like bi. I've heard we all are on a scale. Like nobody's 100% either way. And I relate to that. We're all like, some people are 90% into one gender and 10% into another gender, but nobody is wholeheartedly straight. I kind
I
of
I
vibe with that.
absolutely I believe that. And I think that it's easier for women to be obviously like out as bi and I don't
Yeah.
think men are really allowed to. So then it becomes this really deep like suppressing thing where they're like I can't even think about having a finger in my asshole cuz that might make me gay. And it's like well you probably are gay, but like not fully. Like we all have like nodes
No,
of
like so
gay.
many guys I've dated have opened up to me, and it's sad that they're like, "You're the only person I've told that I'm bi and that I've experimented with men because I'm so open about." I date women, but I like men more. I'll be honest. I wish I liked women; it'd be a lot easier. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
I'm
I feel the same way.
I'm into men. It's just women are fun toys, and so many men have
Mhm.
experimented with men and are afraid to talk about it, and I think that's a bummer. Like, I don't know, who cares?
Which is so funny because I feel like that's almost like a new development in human beings. Like up until, I mean, I feel like for like, like you look at like ancient Greece and like the Egyptians and blah blah. Like historically, men fuck men.
Yes.
They do. They fuck men. They fuck
Roman
boys. Like
Empire in the Greece, like all you can read the Old Testament, the writing, there was a lot of homosexuality
a
back in the
lot of
day.
it. None of it was like, oh, you're gay. It was just the way it was.
Yeah.
And
Did you watch the Menendez documentary or like know about the father? He
I
basically
did,
had
yeah.
sex with men as a dominance, though,
Mhm.
which is like an I own you situation, which that's my pegging thing. It's like
Yeah,
a degrading.
and I think it's okay for women to do it. I don't think it's okay for men to do it.
Okay, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. No,
I think it's okay for women to degrade men, but not for men to degrade women. But men can degrade men.
yes. Yes, then it's
You know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, okay, and you have an OnlyFans,
I
right?
do.
Okay, what is it like? Do you get some really strange requests, or what's one of the weirder or wilder requests you've gotten?
Um, it's like the weirdest shit is like the people with the poop fetishes where they're like, "Would you mind? Could you film yourself pooping?" And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
that's not
As
that
kinky as
that's
I
the
am,
weirdest
I
one."
don't do poop.
The poop stuff is too much. It's
Yeah.
too much. I can't. That's like a no. You're gonna have to go somewhere. You're gonna have to go to the black market for that. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
me.
Now the peeing, I wanna pee on somebody because it's another, like, degrading
Yeah, peeing makes
situation.
sense. Peeing makes sense. Pooping is like another level of like, do you need to be committed? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, which is my kinda guy. So if he's
Yeah,
into it, I'd probably get turned on and be like, "You've mental health issues." I'm down with that.
absolutely,
Have you
absolutely. And
ever dated anyone in the music industry?
no,
Okay.
no. Have I?
'Cause they're
No.
the wildest, most screwed up. They're, like, my favorite.
Musicians and comedians have a very similar like backbone. You know, they're all kind of like fucked up and really like moody and pour all of their everything into their art, you know?
100 I'm gonna ask more comedians to come on. I've had Joe Coy on. I've had, Awkward Cougar. I've had a couple comedians on, and I there's a lot of similarity between metal, rock and roll musicians and podcasters and comedians. There's also a lot of anxiety and depression that run in both circles. So,
Totally.
a lot of comedy, but then a lot of darkness, and so there's a correlation between the rock industry and comedy for sure.
Definitely a lot of addiction. It's just, it's it's like it's people wanting to self express. And I think that to be tapped into that part of like creativity and self-expression, you do have to be a little bit more of an open channel, more vulnerable, more, I don't know, fucked up. At least to like openly admit these things. And anybody who
Mhm.
like openly is like, I want attention, there is something inherently a little bit like, all right, what happened to you?
100%. Or it's like you didn't get it from mom and dad, you know? I saw your you have a dad.
Something.
I don't. Like, you know what I mean? That's usually if you're a funny chick, you don't have a dad. So congratulations on getting
Thank
through
you.
that.
Yeah, yeah, he's a cool guy. I like my dad. He has his issues, but I'm like very close with him. I do find it funny when guys immediately start assuming. I know another one that I get all the time is like, oh, she has daddy issues. I hear fatherless behavior a lot, and I like that men
Ooh.
say this about other men as if it's not like the men, I'm like, why are men accusing other men of abandoning their family? Like, what? That's a man problem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, totally. It's a male oriented issue. And I was gonna say too, I notice when kind of musicians want to come on and make someone laugh, or a comedian wants to make someone laugh, usually it's because there's a dark place that person's been in. So you want to bring more joy into someone else's life. I've noticed
Mm-hmm.
that. Can I
Absolutely.
ask you random questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is your favorite comedian?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think my favorite is Louis C.K. He's
Yeah.
probably in my top three.
He's controversial for sure. I like that.
He absolutely is. There's a
Yeah.
lot going on there that people are, either into or not. But I mean, he's a genius regardless. He's so good. He's so
Sometimes you
good.
have to separate the talent from allegations as well, and I've done that a lot, like Falling in Reverse, Black Veil Brides. There's been a lot of allegations against those bands, but I know their music is really great, and so I still like to play their music and enjoy it. I like Tim Dillon. I'm obsessed.
Oh, I love Tim.
Like,
Tim
funny.
is one of my favorites. Like, he's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, and and also like going back to the Louis thing, it's like he's not like a fucking rapist. He's just like a weirdo who like jacks off, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
kind of hot.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of weird, but he's
I'm into it.
right. I'm into it too, but like it's kind of like a weird. You're like, yeah, okay, it's like not super normal to do that, but also it's like he's not Bill Cosbying bitches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. He's
So
not getting sent off, into space and wake up. He's not touching them. But if I entered a room and the guy's just jacking off in the corner, I'd be like, all right. Okay, like kind of a compliment,
Yeah,
feeling sexy about myself.
I'm feeling sexy, feeling complimented. Right, right, right. You go, okay, you think I'm hot, and I do love
Yeah,
that.
I did my
Yeah,
makeup or hair good today then, is that what that means? So, I don't know,
right,
I'd
right.
blush, but
And then you realize you're just doing it to everybody, and you go, okay, so I guess it's not just me, but
and I don't feel special.
yeah. But I
Um,
love Tim.
yeah.
Tim's amazing.
I'm upset, like, literally every Saturday at 9 AM, I watch his podcast, and I'd rather get the news from him than the depressing real news on any channel, so I like it
I
in his
yeah,
funny manner.
I get a lot. I listen to him as like a source of news as well.
That I think
He's
that
very
means
good.
we should be medicated if we listen to Tim Dillon as our newscaster.
Oh,
Or to
absolutely, absolutely. I went on. I was opening for him for a little while, and I had a lot of fun with him. He's really smart. I mean, he's
You
like, you
are so
can't.
lucky.
He's very fun. He took me on a private jet. It was very fun.
Oh my
It was
god.
very fun. I know. He's
That
very.
is so cool.
I
That is,
know. It was
like,
very cool.
literally, I don't care what rock star I've hung out with, like, my goal is to meet Tim Dillon now before I die. Like, it just came
He
up.
is. He's amazing. But he's super. He's like hyper smart. Like you can't. Like I can't even like talk to him because I'm like I can't keep up with you. You're too good. You're too smart. You know too many
You can
things.
tell that, and that's what I love. You know how he doesn't throw it in your face to make you feel bad, but he
No, not
throws
at
those
all.
zingers when he's doing his show. He heavily is researched and he'll know all the facts about the war, but he'll present it in a middle class America. We can understand it, or I'm saying, and like it's simple what he's saying, but there's a lot of intelligence behind it.
Super intelligent guy. Like
Yeah.
it's too he's like he's a genius. He's like a genius level. Like and he's even funnier, you know, one on one as just like a person to talk to, which is like crazy because he's already so funny. But
Yeah.
like he's just like functioning on another
I wish he wanted to
level.
fuck females. I would just
I
be all over
know.
it. I'm
All
turned on by the
over.
mind. Like literally, if you are funny and smart and I like what you're saying, I'm turned on. So
And
I've
there's
banged some, different directors and producers that maybe aren't tens.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Me too. But there's also something to be said for Tim being so smart and so interesting and also not being straight. I'm like, well, there's the key. Well, there's the
Yeah.
answer. And there's the
That's
keys to the palace.
yeah, I feel that. Okay. Do you have a favorite podcaster or is it Tim? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
love I do love. He is my number one. He's my number one pod. He was my number one on Spotify Wrapped. But the other podcasts that I listen to are I listen to a lot of like kind of like This American Life or like these NPR podcasts about like emotions and psychology and shit like that. So nothing like wild after Tim Dillon.
Yeah, then it's time to calm it down. Yeah, I saw you like meditating or, I've done that. But I like some yoga. I've done some of these classes, the sound bowl classes. It helps me, but I don't think it's something I keep up, if that makes sense. I go through waves of doing
I
it and then
know.
I don't know how to ingrate it in my life as
I know.
a pattern. Does that make sense?
Same. Same. I have the same thing where I'll do it for like 2, 3 days at most in a row. And then I stop and I'm like, "Ah, I should do that again. I don't know how to like yeah, to in ingrain it into my life.
Yeah, like I have with dating a lot of young boys. Like I've ingrained that in my life to bring home a lot of super young boys, but nothing else is a pattern in my life that's been
Right.
consistent
That's
as
the only
that.
consistent one is fucking young guys, and I
Me
get
being a
it.
cougar, and it's working for me.
Yeah,
It brings me joy.
and that's and maybe that is your form of meditation because that's also my form of meditation. Is like I'm like, oh, I'll just keep dating people then. I guess that's the one thing that I can keep doing consistently.
I have a dopamine rush with somebody new, and then I get over it. I have the worst, and I'm like, "Goodbye, it's time for a new dopamine rush."
I know
I'm trying to stop it.
it's so fucked. It's so fucked. I know.
It is, it's bad. Okay, do you have a favorite comedy store to perform at?
um, not really. I mean, there are some the comedy store on Sunset is very fun. The comedy store in La Jolla is also very fun. But with the way that shows are now, it's like they're moving like all of the good shows are kind of not in clubs. They're kind of in different like weird pop-up. They're like weird pop-up shows.
Okay,
Yeah, so that's
it's
kind of a
changing.
Yeah, but there are like very fun like Portland is very fun. Like the Portland Improv is very fun. Like there are fun clubs all around the country, but as far as like in LA, not really. The Comedy Store is probably the best one.
Yeah. Man, I
Mm.
left LA in 2015 and I loved it. It's not that I didn't have a great 7 years in Hollywood, but I think it's really hard to mature and stay, and it's just so expensive.
It
It's
is.
so saturated, so when I go back up to SAC, I can be the big fish in a little pond. There's not a lot of
Yeah,
rock journalists, you know? In LA, there's a million rock journalists. When the band gets there, you're all fighting to interview them. So
yeah.
it's hard to make it in LA. It's hard to you gotta be thick-skinned to stay in LA.
And it takes so long to make it in LA too. It's like, you'll hear about people being overnight successes, but what you don't realize is that the people that are overnight successes they've been doing it for 15 years and all of a sudden it's like
100%. People were like,
and
how do you land festivals?" And I'm like, "It's been 21 years of me grinding on the radio to land these festivals with Danny Weimer."
right.
It wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, "I get to go backstage at festivals." And yeah, people only see when you get something big and they're just like, "Well, I
Mhm.
want that too. How do I do that?" And it's like, fucking work every day and for
For so
yourself.
long. For
Yeah,
so long. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if you God, it's like, yeah, you have to work at it for so long, and LA is such a hard city to, like, continue to do that in because it is really mentally ill. It's really everybody here is so fucking mentally ill. It's so
I know.
expensive. It's just, like, the city itself is just, like, a hard one to exist in, and it takes there are it's so competitive.
I commend you because you need to be strong, mentally to stay there. I just kind of was
Yeah,
like, "Oh God, this is getting rough. This is getting hard." I'm not Howard Stern after 7 years because everyone puts a lot of pressure on themselves sometimes. So I was like, "Okay, I'm leaving radio in LA. I'm going to Sacramento," and then I'm like, "Oh, this is so easy. I get babied. It's so light and cheap.
right.
It's affordable."
Right,
Um,
right.
okay, what is the hardest part of dating? Kind of being well known.
That's so funny, well known. I'm like, "No, I'm absolutely not."
You are. I mean, like, and you have an online persona. Someone could Google you. Has there ever been a
Yes.
difficult part, or someone maybe met you and didn't know who you are? I've had this, and then Googles you later and maybe judges you, or has like a opinion of you.
That is definitely like a thing that I do consider and think about. I mean, luckily for me in the relationship that I'm in, it he didn't. He did say I asked him, I was like, "Did you if you had seen me online before we had met, you think you would have pursued me?" And he was like, "Probably not."
I got that too. I get that. So it's like,
Yeah.
and I don't know why. People understand too, right? I think any normal person knows that your online persona is going to look a lot more wild and funny. Like in real life, I'm really boring. I know I look
Absolutely.
I'm fucking at home in bed at 8 p.m. having green tea with my dog and cat. Like I
Yeah.
am not as cool, I'd say, as I sounded on the radio. I'm not that
Yeah.
cool.
Absolutely. And it's like, it's like a hyperbolic version of yourself online. It's
Mhm.
like it's like the content that I make, I know is like a little bit rage baity. Like I post things that are inflammatory because it's like that's the way to get shit going online. The shit that I say on my podcast is like it's a little bit it is like insane. But then, real life is like so much more subdued.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, I'll get, comments from guys online all the time where they're like, "Have fun never being able to keep a man because you're blah blah blah," and I'm like, little do you know, it's like my like sex life and my dating life is so like easy and like
Is fire. I'd rather
yeah,
have someone accept and love me for who I am. I don't want someone that doesn't understand there's a wild or crazy part of me that just wants to make people laugh and entertain, and
yeah,
I think I've watered myself down in my 20s because I was really afraid to speak my mind and be ridiculed or not be able to get married and settle down. Well, I've already had
right,
2 failed marriages. So I'm fucking like, "You know what? Might find my 3rd, might not, but I already had a couple,
hmm
so I'm not worried about it."
yeah, yeah, totally, yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's an interesting like existence, especially when you have a bit of a platform and you're like kind of an online character.
There's some
And you're
men that don't want that. They want the stay-at-home Susie homemaker, and that's okay, but I don't understand the negative
yeah.
comments on us maybe wanting to talk about sex or make a slightly inappropriate joke. Like, just
Because
keep it
they're
moving.
I know, and it's because they're insecure about it. It's like because they can't imagine like women having that kind of autonomy, or they think that it like needs to not be online. But the other thing is too is like I get a lot of comments too from guys being like, "You don't need to put all this online," and I'm like, I'm a comedian, but I don't think people understand. Like, if I wasn't, if I wasn't like somebody who had like an online presence, if I was just like like a mom in Indiana. I wouldn't, but like that's not what I'm like in entertainment. So it's like you put
Yeah.
things online for entertainment's sake.
They have
And
micro penises. That's
they
like,
all do. They all do. They all
yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
my
Have you
boyfriend
ever
is
got
like,
with one?
I have, yes.
Me
No,
too.
no,
Oh.
I've gone with like very small penises, but not like micro.
Oh no, I've gotten with very small a lot. But no, I had a micro, like literally that big, and he didn't tell me, like no heads up, nothing. Just surprise
How does that?
in
And it's like
Monterey.
you feel bad, and it's like I do feel bad for these guys because it's like they don't, you can't help it.
No, there's nothing you can do
Nothing you
about
can
that.
do.
No, like injection's gonna save the micropene. But I mean, he gave me head, so I'm not, the job got done, but I felt bad.
Do you
I
think
felt
it's
bad.
genetic? Like, where do they get the really small penises from?
And well, how can they have sex? That's what went through my mind too. Not that we even attempted, because I kind of went to go down south and was like, whoa. And like nothing was said. It wasn't even like a talk. I just think there should have been a conversation
Absolutely.
had.
I honestly think that too. Like, if you're gonna hook up with a guy, I think it would be so much more of like a big dick move too, to be like, just so you know, I have an incredibly small penis. Like, it's a micro penis. It's not great, but you should know this. Like,
I
then
would have
I
still
would
gone forward maybe with it and been like,
hell
okay,
hell yeah. If the guy was that open about it, I would be like, oh, that's fucking cool. Like, you have humility, that's funny. All right. Like, but when it's
yeah.
like that weird stuff, you're like, what? Huh?
Yeah. I wasn't drunk enough. I've
Yeah,
told that story so many times, and I hope that guy's never heard it because he was a nice guy. We played Star Wars Monopoly, and like he just gave me head, and then I never called him again. But he's got to
yeah.
know why he doesn't get callbacks. I
He
think
knows why.
you got to own it.
He knows why.
Um, okay. Do you have favorite bands or like music that you like genre wise?
Such a bad question for me. I have a terrible taste in music. I have
There's
such
no
a
such
bad
thing.
girl. Yes, there is. It's mine. I'm so bad with music. I like pop music. Like I like shitty fucking pop music. It's my favorite.
That's I would not have pegged. I would have pegged you, and I'm not literally pegged as like more rock and metal. Like more.
Absolutely not. That's my boyfriend. He's
You
very
like
into
Taylor
metal.
Swift? Like what kind of
I'm not a
pop?
Swiftie. No, that's too. I can't do Taylor. But my favorite artist is Ariana Grande. I love her. I love her. I love her.
Okay, I would not have put that together. I would have lost in a pop
Huge.
quiz.
Oh my God, I'm a huge Ariana Grande fan. I am a big pop head.
What is up with her recently, though, in all her interviews, holding hands when she's, with the witch doing Wicked PR, and she's like deer in the headlights and crying a lot and freaking. I don't know.
Have you seen Wicked?
No, I haven't.
See, here's the thing. After I saw Wicked, I was like, you know what? They're allowed to do that because I mean
Okay,
they're so insane in those interviews. It's like
it's nuts.
no, it's nuts. But then I saw Wicked and I was like, you know what? They can do it. Like they achieved whatever dimension they were in when they filmed that movie is like that's something that a regular person can't do. So
Okay.
they can be as fucking weird as they want. They can do no wrong. I'm like, yeah, they earned it. They earned their weird ass behavior from that
Yeah.
movie.
I mean, it's also
So
I don't
good.
wanna look away too, so it's where I'm like, "Okay, I wanna watch another interview, like, why are they holding hands and kinda," or I'm like, "Are they on some kind of happy drug? What is it? I wanna try it." It just looks like euphoric.
Whatever it does look euphoric. I mean, that movie though, I was like blown the fuck away. I'm such a musical theater fan too, so I was like a big fan of Wicked before the movie came out. I've seen it like so many times in theaters. I mean, like in a theater
Yeah.
on stage, and then when it came out, it was like, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good,
See,
and
I'm not a musical fan. Why I didn't see so I used to date Todd Phillips for 2 years, but I couldn't see Joker 2. I know Tim Dillon said he was in it and was horrible because everyone said it's a musical now and it's not even a whole freaking movie.
yeah, well, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare.
I kinda need to see it because everybody's talked about it, but I'm not a
Yeah.
musical fan except it's Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's the only musical-esque movie that I Love.
Rocky Horror is so good, except for every single time I've seen it live, I fall asleep.
No, well, because it's at midnight. I can't do midnight anymore. I'm a morning person.
No, girl, I'd be falling asleep during that damn fucking music.
Yeah. I do burlesque to open Rocky Horror here, and I have to
So
pound
fun.
coffee and Red Bulls, though, just to perform, and then I leave. People think, "Oh, are you raging all night after you open the show?" No, I leave to go to bed because I'm
You
too
have
tired
to.
to stay
Yeah,
after.
that's the thing, and that's what's so hard right now with like comedy because like I'm sober and there are a lot of sober comedians, but I'm so tired all of the time.
Me too.
And if I'm not on a show, like I'm in bed by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like it is hard to stay up late, especially when you're on the road and you're like there till like 1 or 2 a.m. It's fucking exhausting.
I have to have stimulants, energy drinks or something. I see your cat. I saw your post because I have a cat too, and I resonated with that. My cat, but she's more a 4 to 4:30 a.m. starts making muffins on my chest.
They
My
love the
alarm doesn't go
muffin.
off till 6 a.m. I love her to death, but she wakes me up like an hour and a half before my alarm all the time,
It's
and I
horrible.
need that sleep.
I know. It's horrible. I mean, the witching hours for cats is like it makes you crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
I stay at my boyfriend's a lot because I'm like I need sleep. I
yeah.
need sleep because if
You're
I'm with
lucky. You've
them,
got somewhere else to stay, so you
I
can at least
know.
get away
I
from it for a
know.
second. I
I
can't.
know. I know, but then when I'm away from them, I miss them so much. So then I'll bring them to his house and then they just like terrorize everything.
Oh my god, I can't do it.
I know it's a
Well,
lot.
okay. Oh, you've got a show coming up April 5th in San Diego. Is it called Pichanta with Felipe? How do you
Close.
say it?
It's the Pachanga
Pichanga.
Casino in
Ooh, are you gonna gamble? I like it. With Felipe Esparza?
oh, the Felipe Esparza. Am I gonna gamble, girl? Hell no, I can't gamble. I don't know how I get so bored with gambling. I'm like,
I
can we
can't get
not?
I don't have money to gamble. If it's someone else's money, I'll gamble it, but not mine.
No, I know for real. I'm like, I'm not even putting $20 in. Sorry, I need that
No,
$20.
no. Yeah. I got gas. I got bills to pay. So
Twenty
April
bucks
5th.
goes a long way. I know. No
It
way.
really does. It really does.
So I
Dude,
won't be gambling.
okay. You're gonna open up for Felipe though.
It's kind of like there's 5 comedians I believe on the show and it's like a showcase type thing.
Okay.
Or
Not a
it's like a
gangbang.
not a gangbang, I wish, although I don't really wish to be in a gangbang with Felipe. Love him, but don't want to be in a gangbang with him. He's
I do.
just
I
so
wish I was in one with Tim Dillon. I don't know how to, if there was enough guys, maybe I could enter into the equation one day. Hopes and dreams.
maybe you could. I'm sure you could. He's open-minded.
I try. Well, thank you so much for stopping by Steph's Rock Show on Spotify. And when you come up to Sacramento, I will be watching your page. I want to come see you.
Oh my God, I'll let you know when I'm heading up there. Eventually, I tour up there a lot with Felipe.
Okay.
So next time we're in the area, girl, I'll let you know.
Okay. Awesome. We will have some tea and some soda and hang out.
Would love.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, girl.
Thanks, girl. Bye.